Good morning, children. Welcome to the third period of 8th standard. In this third period, we are going to study the topic related to the second unit of history. So, the second unit is the geographical features and the prehistoric period. So, in this chapter, we are going to learn the point related to the what kind of geographical features are present in the Indian climate or the Indian environment. And the second point we are going to learn in this topic is prehistoric period. We are going to be learn the point related to the history of a human beings before the this prehistoric period, before the arrival of the history. How was a human being? That we are going to learn in this topic. So among that, the different kinds of points we are going to learn in this topic. First one, physical features of India. Second one, both India is to be considered as the subcontinent or the peninsula. And the third point is recognize the neighboring countries of India. And fourth point we are going to learn in this topic is the style of prehistoric period in India, and the period which was started in this year was the Stone Age period. That's all we are going to learn in this geographical feature and prehistoric period. So, among the first point we are going to learn is physical features. How was the physical feature condition of Indian environment? That we are going to learn in this topic. Now, come to the point of physical features of India. What kind of physical features we are going to see in this Indian climate? So, you know that ultimately the human beings are connected with the environment not only in India, but we are going to see totally toward the world. So India also, the people who belongs to the India also, they are connected to the environment. They are having some relations with the environment. That is called as the physical features. So every physics we are having some different type of features. That so what kind of features we are going to see toward the India? The first, it is to be called as the India is called as the one of the subcontinent. India is called as the subcontinent. Already you know that there are seven types of different types of continents are there in the world. So world was divided into some parts. Seven divisions were made. Among that, India belongs to the Asian continent. But again, it is to be called as the subcontinent of Asia. Why it is going to be called as the subcontinent? Because the features of the Indian land are totally different from the other countries of the Asian continent. So that's why it is called as the subcontinent. The other point we are going to see is the presence of Himalayas, Himalayan mountains. So due to the presence of these Himalayan mountains, we are going to be called as the subcontinent. And another point we have heard, that is, it is called as the peninsula. One side, India is having the presentation of the peninsular region. So, due to this peninsular region, India is called as the one of the peninsula. So, some other features also there for the Indian land that shows the India is totally different from the other countries of the Asian continent. How it is differ in India? You can come to the point of history of geographical history of India. India has occupied three sides of surrounding water bodies. One point. And second point, it occupies the land boundaries also. It is occupied the land boundaries. One side, three sides we are finding the oceans. So these kind of changes we are not finding to the other part of the Asian continent. And one side we are finding the land also. And the next point we are going to see, India is connected with the many countries. It means India is having the border with the many countries. There are 7 countries we are going to see which are to be called as the neighboring countries of India. So which are those? First one, take toward the western side, Pakistan. One is Pakistan. Second one, Afghanistan. Afghanistan. Third one, China. Fourth one, Bhutan. Fifth one, Nepal. Sixth one, Bangladesh. Bangladesh. And the seventh one is Myanmar. Myanmar. So these are the important countries which are going to be called as the neighboring countries or related to the Indian land. That's why it is called as the one of the having the different features than the other countries. So another changes we are going to see in India is having the division of states. We know already in America also there was, in America we are going to see there are 50 states. So like that the country India itself has divided into many groups or many provinces. Provinces means the states. So present day we are finding there are 28 states. How many states are there? 28 states are there and 9 union territories. Union territories. So these all are going to show the different features related to the Indian land. Then this is the main thing we are going to see. But rather than this, the climate, the environmental conditions or the monsoon of India is also totally differ from the other countries, because when we are going to the point of geographical features of India, there we are going to see the types of many type of Himalayan mountains are present in this region, in this Himalayan region. And the second point we are going to learn in the Indo-Gangetic plain. So first point we are see the Himalayan mountains are present in the these Himalayan regions. But when come to the second part, there we are finding the plain region. That plain region itself is going to called as the Indo-Gangetic plain. It means this land is fertile land. This land is usable for the agriculture purposes, and this land is having the flow of many valleys. So in this Indo-Gangetic plain, we are going to see the important valleys are present. Those valleys are Bolan and the Khyber Pass. These passes are going to make the trouble to the Indian land, but Himalayas are giving the security to the Indian land. So another point we are going to see after the Indo-Gangetic plain, the next point we are going to see is the peninsular region. So this is Indo-Gangetic plain, and next point is the peninsula. So totally India was divided into 3 divisions related to the geographical features of India. So this also shows the different feature rather than the other countries. So Other than this, the different types of kingdoms also ruled over the Indian land. Different types of small kingdoms ruled over the Indian land. That is called as dynasties. So many dynasties were there in India earlier, since from the ancient time to the medieval period, and from medieval to the modern period. That we are going to study the history related to the features of India. So these dynasties have ruled for the different areas, and different kings have ruled in this area. So now present day, next point also, since from the ancient period we are going to see in the side of this Gujarat side, we are know the Narmada river is this. The Narmada river has divided the peninsular region. It means there we are finding the presentation of the Malwa plateau in the central highland. It means, and it divides Malwa one side and the Deccan plateau one side by the Narmada river. That also we are going to see in the Indian climate. So another important point is the coastal borders of India. The coastal borders, it means the water surrounded by the India. These are going to be called as the coastal border, and these coastal borders are not same toward the east and the west. So east side is to be called as the Coromandel coast, and west side is to be called as the two names. One is the Konkan coast, and second one is the Malabar coast. Malabar coast. So these are the two divisions we are going to see toward the coastal area, and the total coastal area occupied by the Indian land is 6,100 kilometers were occupied by the coastal land of India. So these are the some different features we are going to see related to the Indian land, that we are going to call as the physical features of India. Due to the occupation of these coastal lines, we are going to see many people belongs, or many kings belong to the different countries of the world, have made trade relations with the India. They have developed the trade relations with the India. So other countries have developed the trade relations with the India due to the presentation of the coastal borders. So among that, we are going to see there was the connectivity with the Romans was there in the ancient period with for the trade relations with the India. That we are going to get the idea, because that time who were ruled in India, the people or the kingdoms ruled in India, the kingdoms like Pandyas, Cheras, Cholas, who belongs to the southern part of India, they have developed the relations with the Roman kings for the trade relation, and come to the northern part of India. That time we are going to see it was ruling by the other small kingdoms. Those also developed the trade relations, but that is the land relation. And these southern countries, Cholas, Pandyas, Cheras, who belongs to the southern part of India, they have connected their trade relations with the water bodies. That is the main features we are going to see for the Indian land. Now, after getting these all ideas, we have to come to the conclusion that the Indian geographical environment has also influenced life communities living here. It means they have given the information related to the what kind of communities, what kind of societies were there in the prehistoric period or in the ancient period that have developed here, and they have shown the cultural unity among the diversities. So many types of kingdoms have ruled to the India, but many societies are got united, and they have shown the unity among the diversity in India. Now come to the next point. After the culture of India, there we are going to see the different type of culture we are going to see in the ancient period. That period itself is going to called as the prehistoric period. Which period? Prehistoric period. The next is the prehistoric period. The prehistoric period means the period before the discovery of what? The period before the discovery of art and writing is called as the prehistoric period. Prehistoric period, or you can call as the age. It means we know that earlier the human beings don't have the knowledge related to the literature. There was no any kind of literature earlier period. So there we are not finding any kind of written evidences. Written evidences. Due to the non-present of these written evidences, we are not going to be called as a real history or a perfect history which was written by any scholar writer. That the early writings before the writing of the history is to be considered as the which is prehistoric period. It means in this period there was no literature, there is no inscriptions, there is no any kind of writings developed by the human beings. But also we have some historical evidences which shows that there was human being culture was totally different from the present day culture. So how we can get these evidences? So earlier we are not finding the evidences and there was no linguistic development, but we are finding some other evidences which was searched by our archaeologist. Already we got the idea related to the archaeologist in the last unit. So who are the archaeologists? They are the one kind of scientist who are going to search the evidences, who are going to dig the land, take the some instrument related to the past events, and by using the carbon 14 they are coming to the conclusion that this part is belong, this evidence is belongs to the particular period. On the basis of that they are going to write the history. So those particular things we are going to see in the prehistoric period. So what kind of evidences found by the archaeologist in the period of this prehistoric period? So probably we know that the people who belongs to the this period, they have used the instrument with made with the wood, bones and stones. There is no presentation of any kind of metal. They are used for the purpose of their daily life. So, and the one more thing we are going to see in this period, the people who belongs to this period, they know only the hunting and they are gathering for hunting. So why these people are going to hunt? Because to take the meals or to take the food, they are going to hunt the animals, kill, and to kill these animals, they have used some instruments which are made with the wood, bones, and the stones. So different types of instruments we have, other tools we are going to see in the present day, even in the museum of our countries. So many times when we are going to visit toward the museums, there we are going to see the different types of instrument presented by the ancient people. Okay, so by this way, the historians or the archaeologists got evidence related to the tools used by these peoples. So the tools also they are used for the different purposes, not only a single purpose, not only for the killing animals, but these people have developed the tools for the purpose of peel the skin of the animals, to peel the skin of the animals, and otherwise you can call as the to kill the fish or separate the flesh of the bones of the animals. So different types of instruments were used with the help of the bones and with the help of the stone. And one side we are going to see they have developed the tools for the cutting of trees also. They have developed the tools for the cut of fruit also. But all these were made with the wood, stone and the bones. So one side we are going to see the archaeologists given the evidence, shown the evidence to us that they have created handles of bones and wood and using the spears and the arrows in their life. So most of chances they are used for the spears, arrows, arrows for killing the animals, and these were made with the bones and the woods. So they are in the arrow type, they are in the spear type, and they are making to use the kill the animals and hunting. But later we are going to see they have taken the help of stone and made some other tools related to the stone that we are going to call as the cutting of trees. So you know the axe, the word we have heard many times. We know the axe there in our house also. But present day we are finding the axe is made with the metals. But that time those people belongs to this period. They are using the axe made with the stone. Axe made with the stones, and by using this axe only they are going to chop down the trees and getting the trees used for the purpose of making houses also. That time for the living or their settlement they are going to use or they build the huts by taking the help of the woods. That type of system was followed in this period, and these evidences found by the archaeologists who have searched the evidence to write the history in the period of prehistoric period. So this type of search of any tools is to be considered, and these evidence are considered as the prehistoric period. So normally after some times we are going to see there was a changes in the period of prehistoric. That is we are going to learn from the archaeologist given some evidences and shown the history for us. So next point we are going to learn in this chapter is where did the prehistoric period man lives. So where did the in the prehistoric period the man was going to live on the earth, that we are going to learn in the next point, that is called as the prehistoric period the man was alive. So in the prehistoric period we are going to see the man was followed the process of hunting the animals and food gatherings, and they are migrating toward the availability of these particular things. So they are available most of the chances in the present day in the Kurnool of India. You know the Andhra Pradesh, there we are finding the Kurnool and Hunsagi and Bimbetka. These are important places. There we are going to see the people belongs to the prehistoric period were living in this area because the availability of resources for them we are going to see in this period.
Okay. So there in this prehistoric, the man was living in a particular areas, that is prehistoric man lives in India. Were important places were Bimbetka, Hunski and the Kurnool was the important places that we are going to see the man was living in this area. Then the second one point, why these people are lived in this area? Because the people who belong to the prehistoric period, they needed the availability of water resources first. Because they want the water resources, and the next point, in this period, these people are searching the sites, or discover the sites which are very important related to the availability of the stones. Because that time these people are making the tools with the help of the stone, and which are the convenient stones. It means some delicate stones needed for the making of that instruments. The comfortable stones needed for them. That type of availability of land was searching by this prehistoric period people and going to get the settlement in this particular area. So the point is, stone and tools are available for the survival there. Those people's life in that period. That become very important, and by seeing this, they are going to stay in the particular area. Those important places were Hunsgi, Kurnool and the Bimbetka we are going to see in India. But the people who belongs to this area, they have started to create the new types of tools after getting settlements toward the bank of rivers, because their time we are going to see the creation of new things with the help of stones. So according to these evidences only we are going to get the idea these people are living nearby the bank of rivers or where the availability of stone is there for making these tools. So these industries were developed in India, and human beings have started to create the new instruments. Now we can come to the idea for the development of the industrial sites. Human beings have started to go around toward the rocky areas. You can come to the point, you know, the Badami place. In the Badami we are going to see the present of stools are there. Stools are there, and due to the presence of these stones, we are going to find the idea that these people are going toward the rocky areas, and there they are creating the new type of instruments needed for the survival of their life, and they are staying there. The next point we are going to see related to the prehistoric man. He was living in the area where the important places there they are satisfied with the all needs of that period. So these sites are going to be called as the residential sites, or it may be going to call as the industrial sites, because permanently the people are going to live in this particular area itself. So these are the important things we are learning in this class. So remaining topic we are going to learn in the next class related to the prehistoric period. Okay. Thank you, children. If you are having any doubts, you can call me on the given number by the institution.